at a young age, around 4 or 5. My mom and dad got divorced. It was really tough on me. That's when a lot of my rough patches started, anger and a lot of sadness. None of us were really in church. Around 6th grade year, it was around 4th period on a Thursday, and I walked outside. I got checked out, and I walked outside, and I got some of the most gut-wrenching news ever. Half my family was standing outside. It was a little unusual because a lot of my family was together, and they told me that my stepbrother had been shot and killed tragically in an accident. Later on, after 6th grade year, that summer, and years after, I just started hanging out with the wrong group of people, and hanging out with people that at the time I thought were my friends, but were really not my friends. One of my childhood best friends, a very good friend at the time, had committed suicide, had tried to take his life. And it was really hard on me. At the time, I didn't know if it was true because he acted like everything was all right. Took my pillow and I started bawling my eyes out because my childhood best friend I'd known all my life had just taken his life, and I felt like I could have done more to prevent that, and I could have talked to him and helped him through it. And it put a lot of blame on me and things that I could have done. And then about a week later, the girlfriend at the time that I was dating for a couple months had broke up with me, and that's when I really started spiraling downhill. I started going out of control. I fell into an alcohol addiction at the age of 15 years old, and I was drinking alcohol while my parents were asleep, and that I knew they loved me, I knew they cared about me, but the spirit of depression was so heavily on me, and the enemy was attacking me while I was already down, which made me such an easy target for him, I feel like. One night in my room, I was listening to music, and I already had a bottle of alcohol. The music was getting to me. It was talking about how drinking the pain away would solve everything, and it was just talking about how it's better just not to be here. So I walked into my kitchen where my medicine cabinet was, and I went to open the cabinet, and the chain I was wearing at the time, I felt a sudden tug on my chain, and I was really confused because nobody was awake. My parents were asleep. My stepdad and mom were asleep. It caught me off guard, and I just started bawling my eyes out in my kitchen floor. I was heavily confused. I didn't know what was going on, and I threw my cabinet door shut where my medicine was, and I ran back into my room, and I just started crying the rest of the night, and I was in a state of confusion. So I met this girl at the time named Rachel, and she was awesome. She was a bundle of joy, bundle of sunshine, and I wanted to be around that. But I was feeding myself with all this sadness, and I was looking for a friendship to help me get out of that hole. And I texted Rachel one day. I said, "Hey, we should hang out sometime." And she said, "If you really want to hang out sometime, get dressed up and you can go to a church formal with me." And I was thinking to myself, a church formal, what is it? Like, I don't know what to think about that. I walk in, the first step I walk in, everyone just greets me. And it was an experience I've never really felt before because everyone seemed happy to see me. And just a welcoming presence. At the time, it was the spirit was welcoming as well. Everyone was so excited to see me. wanting to know my name, everything about me. At first, I was just going to church to go with her because I started to like her. And then every time I was coming to church with her, I just got this weird feeling, this weird presence. And at the time I didn't know it, but now I know that it was God. I just got this sudden desire. Every single week, the desire kept getting stronger and stronger to know more about Him, to know more about Jesus. And the more I started learning about Him, the more He started delivering me from some things. The anxiety that I had, the depression I had. At the time, once I met Rachel, the alcohol was over with. The addiction to alcohol was over with. God delivered me from that, and I truly believe that. And I truly believe that God sent her to me to help me through what I was going through. But I felt the Spirit of God over me, and He was showing me visions of things that I've never seen before. I started speaking in tongues at first, and then everyone started praying over me and praying for me. And I just lifted my hands and I told God, I said, if you deliver me from everything, then I will fully give my life to you. And He transformed my life that night. I forgot half the pain I was feeling before. I walked into ramp thinking, man, like, what is this? What is going on? And then I left that room that night changed forever. We started school, and I was really excited to tell everyone about my summer, how it was, talk to my friends about it. And as they're telling me about their summer, I quickly realized that our summers aren't the same. Fast forward to October, Mari and Noah Ramsey came down for a youth event outside, and I'd been telling them that I'd been struggling with some things. And they told me that obedience is key. Stay obedient to God. Pray to God. It takes two ways. You can always talk to God, but it has to go both ways. You have to listen. You have to stay obedient, which really truly changed me in my ways that I walked with God. I was talking to God, but I wasn't so easily listening. I was holding on to some things. I was holding on to some anger, and I was holding on to grudges I had that I didn't really realize I had, but God revealed to me when I went to the altar that night, and He told me that I had to get in the water again. I had to let go. I had to not seek revenge. I had to give it to Him. I had to give my worries to Him. I had to give my problems to Him and let Him take care of them. So I got rebaptized again. I was born again that night in the water. And once I went under the water, I felt it attached to me, but once I was pulled back up, it was like it just slipped off of me. Like I left it in the water, and I came up out of that water, and it was a different feeling than the first time I was baptized. It was a different feeling. My head was spinning and my mouth was moving at like an uncontrollable pace. I couldn't control my mouth. I was speaking in tongues, and it was absolutely awesome. At this time of my life, I'm 16 years old, and I've been through depression, anxiety. I've lost a brother that's passed away. I've lost a best friend that have passed away. I've struggled with being a victim of being made fun of. The spirit of depression, from this day on, I've tried to be the light.